All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Kakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful lake out there, pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers and listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Shema Shai. And what I'm gonna touch on this afternoon, pretty much dealing with a question that was asked on the comment board, and it's something that comes up often, dealing with, sisters that are, married, to unbelieving husbands, and it seems as if, nothing is getting through, to the man, you know, to convert him. Now, we're gonna deal with it according to the scriptures, which we already know, dealing with Corinthians, um, chapter 7. But we also gonna get, understanding and, situations, and pretty much get an understanding on how the law, when you go into the law, protected us, from the flaws that we had in human nature and our emotions. It pretty much shielded us from that. Okay, and we're gonna get some examples. Now, I'm gonna touch on this first, and then we're gonna deal, with that particular topic when we get to it. But just starting off first, this is on 1 Corinthians 7:6. It says, but I speak this by permission and not of commandment. Yeah, so Apostle Paul is pretty much is going to give his spiritual take, on the situation of men and women, becoming married. Because you have to understand, the Apostle Paul is writing this letter to the Corinthians. And you have to understand, Corinthians were like, the Las Vegas, of those Greek city-states. So he's trying to set up structure, amongst the Israelite foreigners. And, there was this issue coming up, about marriage, being married, because you could, just like now, the gospel will be preached, and you'll have, men that will believe what their wives wouldn't. All right, you have vice versa, where the women will believe and the husband didn't believe. Okay, so Apostle Paul was directly addressing that situation. Okay, and he's gonna go, all right, into the law. Now, this is not a video to tell anyone, what they should do in their situation, because we don't know that, that no one knows the ins and outs, of another person's marriage, all right, of the, a couple's marriage. Okay, and another thing, like, it got to be, a common sense factor, with certain things. Because I done heard, women say, what should I do, my boyfriend, or, husband, or the guy that they were dealing with or whatever, yeah, he got me, still smuggling weed on the train, and, and what should I do? And it's like, common sense got to kick in somewhere, and it seems like, the woman has the damnedest time leaving these, all right, low life, street niggas that, it's a goddamn obstacle to leave them, but no one, when it comes to a working man, they say you don't need no advice, you out of there, but that's another story. I digress. But just to make the point, you gotta take this information in the spirit, and apply it to your situation. I can do a general lesson on it and give examples, but you got to apply, okay, these precepts and this wisdom in the spirit, according to your situation. Every situation gonna vary. Now, when you read this, it says, this is 1 Corinthians 7:6, but it says, but I speak this by permission and not of commandment. For I would that all men were even as myself, but every man have his proper gift of the Most High, one after this manner and one after that. Yeah, because, the Apostle Paul, he was pretty much, a spiritual unit. Hold on, real quick, guys. Man, yeah. What you gotta go? You gotta go. All right, all right, that's cool. All right, but going back to it, Apostle Paul was pretty much, a spiritual unit. You know that he wasn't dealing with women; he was locked in to the ministry, and Yahweh Shah spoke of it. And let's get that because we're gonna go back to the Matthew 19, but let's get that in Matthew. You know, and you have some brothers, okay, that are like that, man. You know, this is Matthew 9 and 12. It says, "But when Yahweh Shai, not Salaki, this is Matthew 19. So when you get to the book of Matthew chapter 19, okay, and we're gonna go back into it and read up. But I want to get this. This is Matthew 19 and 12. It said, "For there are some eunuchs which were so born from their mother's womb." All right, you had men, who had different dysfunctions, within their loins, born like that. And you said, and there were some eunuchs which were made eunuchs of men. Yeah, you have, men that will get, castrated, you know. And then you also had another form of a eunuch where, they just meant you was a certain officer, within the courts, of a king, like Daniel was a eunuch, okay, under under the Babylonian Empire, you know. But he wasn't castrated, but he was a eunuch, he had a certain office, you see. And it says, "And there be men which made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of heaven's sake. He that is able to receive it, let him receive it." Yeah, because you have some men, like the Apostle Paul, Yahweh Shai didn't deal with women. He was locked in, to his mission. And though, Yahweh Shai, of course, having the biggest lot you can have. And then, Apostle Paul had a major lot, within the ministry, and he didn't deal, with women, you see. But it's different from, for different brothers, because every brother has their own portion. Like the Apostle Paul said, every man, has their perfect gift, you know. Like you gonna have a situation that's gonna be beneficial, for you in this walk, and like even me and Apostle Kyle was speaking the other day, you know, and pretty much when it's time for a change, when it starts to be a hindrance to you in the spirit, when it starts pulling you away in the spirit, speaking to you brothers, because you're gonna have different situations where you're gonna have a demon full period, as the Most High trying to give you that experience so you can understand, you know. But at the end of the day, every man has their perfect gift. The Most High got them in situations to where, you know, they'll be they'll be balanced, within the ministry, because even with the, you know, like you hear brothers say, the worst woman to get with is the woman that knows she's an Israelite, okay, and that's because, over um because over the years, okay, there have been some horrible women, that know that they're Israelites and pretty much use that as leverage, and have taken advantage of brothers and have, made it seem like they was this way, but it really wasn't like that, and they become big demons because they think, not only they already were thinking they were equal to you in the world, but now they come in the ministry and think they're just as equal to you in the ministry. So it's a major clash. I've seen that happen. So I've seen both of them, man. I've seen, it worked, between a brother and a sister that knew she was Israelite. I done seen it work, and I done seen it a disaster. I done seen more disasters, than um, you know, good situations. So brothers, they speak those things. So it's an exception to every rule, man. you know. But I would say this, to you brothers and you sisters, man, this ain't, like we wasn't bred to be a particular way, okay? We're all being born again. We all becoming new. So it wouldn't be wise, okay, to have an internet relationship and then, link up with a brother or sister and you don't really know them, you know. Yeah, but and then the Most High gonna have it set up where situations gonna pretty much bring, brothers and sisters together. The Most High gonna pretty much be playing the matchmaker in these time to come. You gonna be where you supposed to be. You see, because Scripture tell you not to force the course of the river. You know, because dealing with marriage, like once you lock in with a marriage, you locked in. You can't, this society teach you to go into a marriage, you know, with plans of it failing. you know, that's the way this society works. That's why the nigga woman's all about her career. So, if she do want to get married, she doesn't have to depend. She want to be independent. So if the marriage ain't what she wanted to be, she can just opt out. You know. But see, in our culture, marriage is a serious thing, and that's a serious commitment for man and woman. Okay, so that ain't something you just jump into, or over lust, over the internet. You gotta, be mature and be patient with, marriage, man. According to our customs. Now, let's keep reading. Um, let's go back to Corinthians. Oh man. So lucky, tab tripping. Hold on, open up another Bible. God, goddamn iPhone. Let me try here. So let's go back to Corinthians, the first chapter, and the eighth verse. Now, this First Corinthians 7 and 8, it says, "I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I." Yeah, this talking about to the unmarried women, because as a woman, you come in this thing single, with no man. All right, it will be best to stay unmarried, until you're matched up in the spirit. You know, it'll be very counterproductive, for you to be single, a believer, then go get a man, that's of the world. It will be super counterproductive. Okay, and just as spiritually, we have to be, we have to pretty much we're promised because the men of Israel are promised to Yahweh Shai. Like Apostle Paul said, "I have espoused you to one husband." You know, and that's why we can't go astray into other doctrines. No, we have to be faithful unto our husband, man, in the spirit. You know, so as a woman that's single, that come into this thing single, all right, it will be better to stay single. Now, let's say the Most High might have it convenient where you do find you a man, before it get chaotic. That can happen. It's an exception. But like I say, in doing that, I would advise, you brothers and sisters be wise, and vet one another, see if this, You know, because a lot of scamming and game playing everywhere. You know, wherever, you know, so you know how it be, man. You know, so be mindful of that, man. Okay, because people can play a character. All right, take a little time where you can kind of see a pattern. You know, because the pattern gonna tell it all, man. You know, and it says verse 9, it says, but if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it's better to marry than to burn. Yeah, man. So if you got these urges, we fairly young, a lot of us fairly young, mid 30s, early 30s, 20s, you know. So you're gonna have those urges, okay? But like I say, you wanna pick the best choice, man. You don't just I can't contain myself and just go jump into anything, man. It's still a thing of patience, man, and enduring, and prayer. Because at the end of the day, as the scripture say, if a brother can put it up, the Most High give every needful thing in due season, you know. So at the end of the day, it's a constant work on ourselves, you know. And then even when let's get this real quick. How I said this, okay? When you go to Matthew chapter 6. This is Matthew 6 and 33. It says, but seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Okay? The Most High knows when he needs to add a husband in your situation. The Most High knows when he needs to add a woman within your situation. Like the situation I have a good, situation. Every brother is not at war, with their woman. She's a she's a woman. You're gonna have, little times and, little different, moves and different things, you know. But every brother is not at war with their woman. It's a lot of, brothers in cool situations, you know. And that situation happened when that brother needed it. And when that woman needed it, For households where you got, the husband and wife that believe, the Most High added, you know, a spouse when it was needed. Okay? So let's go back from there. And another thing, like not forcing the course of the river, one way that something is for you about pretty much is gonna be real convenient. The Most High gonna set it up, where it's real convenient. It's gonna work. You don't have to put a lot of effort in it, man. You know. So let's go back to Corinthians chapter 1 Corinthians 7, I think, and 9. Okay. It says, but if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to be married than to burn. And unto the married I command ye not, but the Lord. Okay, now he's going to go into the law. Okay, and remember the law was to shield us from, our emotions and our human nature. Okay, and it says, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband. Okay, and let not the husband put away his wife. All right, and Yahweh spoke of this, man. Okay, because if a woman departs from a woman in the ministry, you know, she depart from her husband. This is speaking amongst the church. Okay, if she departed from a man that was a believer. Okay, she wasn't supposed to go get another man that was a believer. Okay, she had to stay unmarried, and if she did want to get married, she had to be reconciled to her husband. And Paul was keeping down the confusion in the church, man, because even the apostles speak about how, the old school became a harlot house, because you had those women, jumping from brother to brother. You see, so the apostle Paul was putting in order to keep down confusion, man. From women jumping to brother, like, nah, she dealing with a brother and they, you know, not together, they part. Okay, she's supposed to stay unmarried or either get back with their brother, man, and they keep down a lot of confusion. Okay, that's why you can't just be jumping out here choosing anything, man. you know. But this society teach us to make lifetime decisions based on, temporary emotion, man. You know, and like I say, the law what shielded us from that. Now, and it says, and unto the married I command ye not, but the Lord. Let not the wife depart from her husband, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let the husband not put away his wife. And when you go to Matthew, Yahushua spoke on it. Okay, let's get that in Matthew. When you go to Matthew, all right, 9, Matthew 19. All right. This is Matthew 19:3. It says the Pharisees also came unto him because they were trying to trip Yahushua up in the law. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, um, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? Pretty much for anything, argument, get out of here. Get your ass out of here. And it says, and he answered and said unto them, have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one. And they twain shall be one flesh. All right, and let's do, sex. It says, wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore the Most High have joined together, let no man put asunder. Yeah, and no man has authority over another man's marriage. Okay, we can't tell a man what and what not to do dealing with his woman. Now, if it's to getting to the point where it affect the body, then the brother can be removed from the body. But that's completely his decision if he want to deal with that woman. You know, if they throwing each other out of windows and you know, running each other over cars and then they at the movies on Saturday, well, hey, that's if they like it, I love it. And all this is a spiritual perspective and guidance from the wisdom of the scriptures, and getting a spiritual understanding, of the law, because at the end of the day, hey, everybody adults, everybody adults ain't gonna want to do what they want to do. All right, you can't tell grown folk nothing when it comes to, a man, a man and a woman. So, hey, if you like it, I love it. Now this is going back in Matthew 19:4. And it says, and he answered and said unto them, have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and for this cause? Oh yeah, I read all that. Verse 7 says, they say, I'll read verse 6. It says, wherefore they are no more twain but one flesh. What therefore the Most High have joined together, let no man put asunder. They say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffer you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. Yeah, because that was a lifelong commitment. Okay? Because even when you go back before Egypt, you gotta understand, when you go back to the sons of God, like, Abraham, you didn't hear about Abraham putting away, no Rebecca. Now Hagar was put away according to the promise. That was symbolic of, them not partaking in the covenant. All right. But when you go to Isaac, he wasn't, I mean, Abraham putting Sarah away, you know. No, they were locked in. Okay. We had these other women, when Hagar was put out, for the sake of, the symbology of symbolism of, these heathens not partaking in the covenant. And then, when you had Isaac, he put Rebecca away, or you go to our forefathers, Jacob, He didn't put none of his wives away. They was locked in. But then Moses, you gotta understand, Moses is post Egypt. And you gotta understand what Jake was exposed to in Egypt. Okay, Jake was used to, Egypt. Well, hey, it was a freak show, man. Okay, Jake seen some things, man. Okay, women, had different rights. They seen some things, man. So, the Most High, we're gonna get into it. Where the Most High made stipulations where Jake, could put the woman away, or the woman could leave if Jake wasn't doing right, man. You know. Now, in fact, let's get those accounts. Show you how the law overrides your emotions, man. Because this is Deuteronomy 21. Because the law wasn't meant, for us to make decisions based on emotions. Okay? The law was grooming us to make decisions on what benefited the nation. Not the individual. Not just the individual, because if you make decision to benefit the nation, then it benefits everyone, including you. But this society teach you to make decisions based on just benefiting you. Okay, and the nigga woman is the prime example of it, man. Okay, she didn't care about the ripple effect of this independent boss diva mindset. Okay, where she gets to live her best life, but you have children that are underdeveloped. Okay, then her decision making with the men that she has children with, and then these men, that they have children with, the decision they make when they leave. It's just a big ripple effect of everyone making decisions for their own benefit, man. The law, all right, shielded us from that, man. To the point it was supposed to be in us. Now, this is Deuteronomy 21:15. It says, if a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated. And it just means that he favored this one more than the other, for the most part. All right. And it says, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, so you have a situation where you have a wife, that Jake favors, like, Jacob, he favored Rachel, he favored Rachel, okay? Going to 2, it said, then it shall be when he maketh, and then David, he favored Bathsheba, because that was the one that that Nathan the prophet went and got, to persuade King David to go ahead and kind of expedite, establishing Solomon on the throne before he died, So, 16 said, then it shall be, when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he have, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn, but the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. All right. So what we have to understand is, okay, as a man, you might have a wife that you favor. Now your emotions will want to make the son that you have by her get the possession, the inheritance of the firstborn, because the firstborn will get a double portion, okay, or what everyone else would get. Let's say, a man, had 200 acres, well, the first son, okay, will get a double portion of what the rest of the sons would get. He would get a double portion of servants, a double portion of land, a double portion of livestock, okay? And then the rest of the sons will split it up, and they'll split up the rest. All right, just like we're joint heirs with Yahushua, where Yahushua is the firstborn, the only begotten. He's gonna, like, we're not gonna have the power that Yahushua has, because he's gonna get a bigger portion than every other Israelite man. He's the firstborn. Okay, we're gonna have great portions, but Yahushua is he's going to have a major portion from the Heavenly Father. All right, he's going to have access to things that no one else has access to because he's going to get their firstborn blessing. Okay, if that makes sense. Now, verse 17 said, "But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he hath. For he is the beginning of his strength." All right, the right of the firstborn is his. You see that? Now, let's get that. So they will protect, hey, they will keep it, they will keep things in order. Well, Jake wasn't making decisions based off their emotions, but based off what? Order, man. Integrity and their duty. You see? Now let's get another one. All right, dealing with all right, when you get the book of Exodus chapter 20, verse 9. I think 21. All right, this is Exodus 21 and 10. It says, "If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish." Yeah. So, you have a wife, y'all get a little older, and Jake go give him another younger wife. Well, when he did that, he still was obligated, to keep up, that same, relationship and, the provisions that he was doing for the first wife. He couldn't neglect her because he had another wife. Okay? He still had to do his duty of marriage. And what did that do? That took emotions out the way. Okay? That took being impulsive out the way. That took partiality out the way, man. You had to continue to do what was right, man. You know? and it shielded us from, our nature. As men is our nature. You know? So when you keep reading, it says, "And if he does not these three things unto her, then she shall go out free without money." Yeah, so the Most High is a very righteous judge. He was like, look, if the man, starts neglecting you and and he's putting all these resources and time into her and your first wife falling off, okay, well, that woman had the option to leave. Now, she left with nothing, but she had the option to leave because her husband wasn't doing right. He wasn't fulfilling, his duty, you know? And so, she had the option to leave, man. The scripture wasn't set up for a man or a woman to be miserable and depressed, man. It was set up for order, man. And the man and woman, let's say, complement each other, man. You know? Now, let's go back to Corinthians. But I just want to show how the law shielded us from making emotional decisions, man. The law was about duty, honor, and integrity, man. Not emotions, how you felt. Okay, now, you go to First Corinthians, back in First Corinthians 7. Because this is a question that's asked often, with the unbelieving wife or husband. Now, let's go back to okay. So go back to First Corinthians 7 and 12, and now the Apostle Paul finna go back to giving spiritual advice because he went through the law on how the law went. We, got some examples and, he went through it. But now he's finna switch back and be giving, spiritual advice, man. So you have to take this and apply it to your situation. Okay? Be common sense, man. All right? If you praying, okay, then, you, you get Sparta kicked in the head every time you try to pray, man. Use common sense, man. Okay, you ready to go to camp? All right, 3 weeks in a row, all your tires on flat. You finna go to camp? Like, come on, man. Be using common sense, man. We gotta apply, common sense to your situation, man. Now, when you go to um yep, back to 1 Corinthians 7:12, it says, "But to the rest speak I, not the Lord. If any brother have a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away." Yeah, man. So if it's a situation where, she's beneficial, within your situation, she adds on to you. She might not be a believer. She probably don't pray in the names, but like she still do her little womanly duties around the house, cooking, cleaning, keeping your work clothes clean, you know. She a woman, so it's gonna be you know, a little tic tac every now and then, you know. But like I say, what I accept is be different from, what another man accept. So once again, you got to apply that within your situation, within the standards that you know, have set for what you want, man. Out of a woman. And it says, um, and the woman which have a husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. And like I say, each situation is different, and you gotta, understand. It's another thing too. Um, if just be real, real blunt. If you're watching men, teach, and then you're seeing, you comparing, these men to your husband, and your husband not, he's not cutting it, then by nature, your nature is gonna naturally start resenting that man, okay? Because you're listening to what should be done every day, and then you look at him and it's not being done, then it's gonna be a natural resentment that you're gonna have towards that man, But that's the head that you got for right now, you know. That's another thing. Like, just because your husband in the truth, man, you can't, look down on him. Like I say, I don't like, and this if it apply to your situation, man. Cause like I say, you got some all kind of other crazy shit got going on, you figure it out. But just speaking in general, you know, you can't look at yourself as above your husband just because you know the truth and he don't. Okay, you can't come in him with that condescending spirit, trying to throw little slick shots out there, you know, these little different things, man, because you are the representation of the truth in your household. Okay, what you sisters have to believe, you are their representation of the truth, and it's a balance with this truth, man. You know, but like I said, if you watching other men teach about, righteousness, and then you see what your man is doing, and you trying to, be real critical about everything he do, then it's gonna cause a resentment, and it can make your situation worse than what it got to be. So just like the laws was set up for us to override our nature and our emotions. Hey, you got to override your emotions, man. You know, you don't want to be developing feelings, for another man, and you're married. Okay, you have to understand that. Look, my emotions, righteousness got to override emotions, man. And as that man's wife, you have a duty and a responsibility within that household. You know, and like I say, all the what if this, what if that. That's something you're gonna have to figure it out. I'm just throwing it out there, and if it can be applied, apply it. You know. Now, verse 14 said, "For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy." Yeah, because when Most I had set brothers and sisters up, you might be with an unbeliever for now, and hey, some can click. It's a thing of patience too, man. You know, something can hit them, something can happen, something can happen to her. You know, and they can snap into it. Okay, so now guess what? Their whole house, all right, is in a position to be delivered because the man that was a believer or the woman that was a believer, they stayed doing the right thing, man. You know, and the Most High, hey, it's easy. It's a light thing for the Most High to wake up. You know, Jake. You know, let the woman put the woman in order, man. You know, but a lot of times it's based off our consistency, man. Cause I'm gonna tell you, you know, even me and my wife, like, yeah, it was some growing pains, man. You know that we had to go through. You know, and she had to go through. Okay, but one thing that my wife done found out, all right, if she just let me be me, she gonna get the best version of me, and that's gonna benefit her. She has reaped the benefits, okay, of being in order. Okay, she don't reap the benefits of that. It was a thing of patience, though, man. Okay, and it's a case by case, you know, decision. Now, and it says, for what verse 16 said, for what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband, or knowest thou, O man, okay, whether thou shalt save thy wife? But as the Most High hath distributed to every man, as the Lord have called everyone, so let him walk, and so ordain I in all the churches, man. So the Apostle Paul was just establishing order, because even when you go to the Apostle Peter, okay, you go to Apostle Peter chapter 3 and 1, and it says, likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husband, that if any obey not the word, that also may without the word be won by conversation of the wives. Because if you come into this thing and, like I said, you start to resent your husband for what, you know, for what he's not doing, okay? If you start to resent him for what he's not doing, and you got a standard in your mind and he not living up to it, and it's causing resentment. See, you can go through the motions, but people feel energy, man. You know, so your husband thinking like, well, whatever she listening to got her resent me more and more. You know, like, damn. You know, she spend more time, you know, with them than with me. And I live here. You know, and as a man, how you think that, you know, as a man, I know how I would feel. Why would I even want to begin to listen to anything that's being said when this is pretty much, you know? But on the flip side too, the scripture say a man's foe shall build his own household. Okay, so that's a factor too, you know. But then the other fact is, you know, you don't want to try to force a separation, you know, when it's a situation that the Lord got you in that He's gonna, you know, intervene in, and you know, and save that whole household. We just want to be blameless on our part. Now, if you doing what you supposed to do, and he or she just flip out, and you know, then it is what it is. Okay, well, I did everything right on my part. You just won't be blameless in the situation, you know, because hey, sometimes they just meant for that split. Okay, well, some situations meant for those households to be saved, but we just want to make sure we're blameless, however it play out. Okay. Now it says, they also may be without the word be won by the conversation of the wives, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. Yeah, like that's submissiveness. Like, you know, being a servant. Like, I don't know what man wouldn't greatly appreciate that. You know, and you know, hopefully you ain't got just no degenerate street nigga. You know, but that's another video as well. But you know, I don't know what man wouldn't appreciate that, but and then it said coupled with fear, because he sees that there's nothing that can be said or done for you to go against, you know, your standard. And that consistency, he's constantly saying it like, man, she don't budge. or the woman seeing you, or he don't budge. He gonna be at camp. He gonna fellowship. He gonna do his lessons. He's still a provider though. you know, he still take me out every now and then. And like, the woman to be like, well, I like this version of him. He not wilding out. I ain't got to worry about him in the streets into it with these niggas. Like he's, maturing. You know, they start liking. Hey, the woman can start liking that version. Of the man that the truth is making you. And the husband can start, he can fall in love with the version, all right, the woman that this truth is making you into, you know. But then you're gonna have those that's gonna be demons, man. So we just want to be blameless in a situation, all right. But that was pretty much it, man. I gotta head back, to work. Got a lot of things I gotta handle, man. Setting up some new things at work. But Lord willing, it was edifying, man. I just try to touch on it from every perspective. Lord will, questions were answered, okay? And some understanding came out, all right? And if all else fail, go listen to that red bone, man, Goddamn, put that red bone. I know y'all been jamming it, man. But, Lord willing, y'all was edified till next time I say Shalom. Call me Yashala, Abba, DTA soon. Shalom.